Hi all, good afternoon. We are back again for the fourth and second last session of this international faculty program development. So let's get started with today's session. I'll be sharing my screen. Let me know once you see my screen. So I hope my screen is visible to all of you. So yesterday we had started with Tableau and we learned about the basics of charts as to how to create the charts, how to change the formatting of charts, how to apply the filters in the charts, and what are pages in Tableau. Today we are going to see how to use the calculations, how to write or how to create some custom charts, okay, and do formatting over there. And then we will also see the concepts such as how to show the hierarchy, a custom hierarchy in Tableau, and how to create the parameter option in Tableau as well. So we are going to connect to the same data set, order sample superstore, which is Excel data. So I'm connecting to sample superstore. What we will be doing is I'll be explaining you the concept, and then we will be giving you 10 minutes for everything or every concept that I'm going to explain you, so that you will have hands-on on the things that those are going to be covered here. So let's add up orders over here. And now let's go to the sheet. So we already have information about different types of or different aspects of the sections we have in Tableau. Like we have show me here, we have rows, columns, marks, filters, pages, the data, and the toolbar that we have. Now, what we are going to do over here is we are going to understand how to write a different calculation, like probably the calculations related to some arithmetic operations or writing some logical test or logical conditions using if-else type of queries. So we can learn that. I will be doing some operations, and then once I'm done, you'll have to repeat. Okay. So make sure that you are connected to Sample Superstore. You'll be given 10 minutes to do that activity so that you can complete within time. Okay, so before we go ahead, I wanted to change the format as usual to Arial. So I can do that very easily by going into format and selecting the workbook. And then I can change this Tableau book to Arial and changing the gray color to black. And now I'm going to change the worksheet font size to 12. All right, perfect. So now we have everything in place. So why do we need calculations in Tableau? It is just because we have to show the business requirement in table or in the chart format so that we come up with some interesting facts about the data. That's where calculations come into picture. Because every time you will not be having the columns which actually satisfy the business requirements. Sometimes you may have to add up some extra calculations or extra things which can be considered as calculations to your views. All right. So now let's create one scenario wherein I want to show categories, and I want to show categories for category wise and subcategory wise cells. All right. So I need that. So I'm adding up 2 dimensions in the rows. And then I need sales and profit to be shown in the table format. Correct. So what I need to do is I know that how to add up the sales and profit into table format. So I can simply double click on sales so that the data is shown in table format. And I can simply double click on profit to show the data in table format as the second column for profit. Okay. So now what I need to do is I need to just interchange the position of sales and profit in this way. And I just need to align those measure values centrally. So I can do that very easily. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I know that how much sales and how much profit we do have in this scenario. Okay. Like for every category and every subcategory, how much sales and profit we have. But what we don't have is the cost, the expenditure for every subcategory. So expenditure or the cost would be like Suppose if this is a profit, so this is not a profit, this is a loss, right? So basically sales, what is profit? Profit is nothing but, or what is cost? Cost is nothing but sales minus profit, right? That's what. So you take cost, you can also call it as expenditure. So that is nothing but the sales value minus profit value, right? That's what it means. For example, if you take the first example, chairs, the total sales in chairs happened to be 3,35,000. And then profit earned while selling the products of chairs was 27,000. So if the profit earned is 27,000 out of this much sales, cost has to be less than sales. So this value minus this value would give me the cost for chairs. Okay, that's what I need to find here. So to do that, this value minus this value, this expression I need to write. So this value is represented as sum of sales. This value is represented as sum of profit. So now let's create a calculated field. So how do we create calculated field? We click on this icon and select this option which says create calculated field. And in front of you, you can see a screen that is called as calculated field. Now calculated field is a screen where you write the calculation in this white color box. On the right hand side, you can see the explanation of your functions with examples. So we can write the name of the calculation. So for us, it is cost. So I'm writing cost. Okay. And now what should I do? I should write sum of sales. You can see sum of sales come and we write, and then we type sum, select it, and then type profit and select it. That's how we are doing it. Okay. So sum of sales minus sum of profit is what my profit, cost formula is. I can click on this option to hide the reference guide, and you can see that we have this expression. Now, whenever you write any expression, that expression has to be valid always. So in case it is valid, it is invalid, then that calculation is no longer to be used. Let's make it invalid by adding one more bracket. So now you can get to see that calculation contains error. You know where is the error. If you don't know, you can simply click on calculation contains error and select syntax error. So now you can see that the formula is highlighting something wrong at this place. Now the type of the calculation would be basic calculation, because we are writing basic expressions in this window. And when we create this calculation, the name of the calculated field is cost will be created somewhere here. Now let's click OK. And now you can see cost has been created as a new field. All right. So what I can do, I can simply double click on cost and you can see the cost. Very, very simple. Right. So this is how I can actually create the calculation. Now suppose I want to create the percentage, like what is a profit margin? Profit margin means, suppose I want to know that after selling the products for some amount, the profit earned is this much or loss earned is this much. So what is a profit percentage? Profit percentage means this value divided by this value will give me the profit margin or profit percentage. So how do we do that? It's very simple. We can create another calculation in the same create calculated field window. And here what I need is this value, which is sum of profit, divided by this value, which is sum of sales. So you see sales means this column means this column, this column means this column. You see the order. Okay, same order is followed. So these numbers are represented by the second column, second field, and these values are represented by the first field. Correct. So what I can write here is sum of profit divided by sum of sales. Okay, sum of profit divided by sum of sales, that's a profit ratio. Profit ratio. Now I can simply click OK, and I can simply double click on this profit ratio so that it gets added to the right. Now the values are in percentage form. Okay, that's why 1% means 0.001, right? Because of that, the values, all values are same. So what I need is, I want these values to be shown in percentage form. So how do we do that? We can simply right click on sum of profit ratio. We can select format. We can select this pane number, and you see percentage. So let's select percentage, and I don't want any decimal places, so avoid that and make it 0. And now we can see that how we are actually showing the profit ratio for every category and subcategory. Okay. You can also convert these values to 1000. We know how to do that. It's very simple. So for example, if I want to know this, I want to convert sales into K format, I can right click, format, go here in numbers, number custom, and decimal places should be 0. Display unit should be K. That's it. You can now see the values are in K4. Similarly, sum of profit, format, go here, number custom, display units, 1000, 0. Right click on cost, format, numbers, custom, no decimals, display unit should be 1000. You can see cost, profit, and sales are into K format. All right. So this is the way how we are formatting or how we are creating the two calculations. Now I'm giving you 10 minutes of time. So please create cost and profit ratio. I'm going to share the formula with cost. So right click and simply click on edit. You can edit, you can rename, you can delete any calculated field as well. Simply auto right click. So please do this. I'm waiting for 10 minutes. Okay, so I hope everyone might have completed this exercise. Let's go ahead and see the next topic, which is nothing but hierarchy. So this is about calculations. All right. I'm going to the new sheet. Perfect. So now let's see the custom chart option. So what do you mean by custom chart option? Custom chart option is uh, basically used to create the charts which are not present as the traditional charts. So what do you mean by that is uh, whenever I want to create any chart that is like asked by the clients, like I want to create a donut chart which is not present in show me, right? I have pie chart, I don't have donut chart. So how do we do that? Okay. So if that is a requirement, then we have to create the custom charts with the help of some options. So one of the options that we normally use is the dual axis and the calculations part. So dual axis is nothing but a concept where we create one chart over another chart. Like for example, you might have created the chart. You might have seen the chart in Excel, which looks like this. Okay. Let's say this is a bar chart, and then this is a line chart. So you might have seen this kind of chart. This is called as a combo chart. So we should know how to create such kind of chart. Okay. Let's say for an instance, I want to create subcategory wise sales as bar chart and subcategory wise profit as a line chart. So this is called as a dual axis chart. Okay. Just a minute. Okay. So how do we create this? We create this using the concept of dual axis. So dual axis means what? Two axis. We normally say dual. Dual means two, right? Two means two things, two axes, either two y-axis or two x-axis. So how to go about it? So let's see the procedure as to how to create the dual axis chart. Since I want subcategory wise sales as bar chart, I should first add subcategory into rows, followed by sales into columns. This way. So now we have bar chart ready. I told you yesterday that whenever we have one dimension, one measure, and if that dimension is not date, by default, we get to see a bar chart. Now, what I can do is I don't want this way. I want vertical bar chart. So I can make use of this particular option so that subcategory goes up, sum of cells comes down, and we have bar chart in vertical. Now let's switch it in this way. Let's hide the subcategory and let's remove any, any grid lines that we may have. All right, perfect. Now what I need is I want to create one more measure over here, which is sum of profit. For dual axis, we need only two measures, not more than two and not less than two, only two measures. Dual means two, right? Hence we have two measures. And now what I need is I need to create a dual axis. So we do that like this. We right click on sum of profit and select the option which says dual axis. Right? Now what happens in this case, if you see, we get to see that there are two measures and we do have two marks cards as well, right? For these two measures, we have two marks cards, right? So this marks card sum of profit is for sum of profit measure. This marks card is for sum of sales measure, which means if I want to change the chart type, color of the chart, label of the chart, I can go to individual sections and do it. So as I said earlier, sales I need bar and profit I need circle. So profit should be circle that I can do from here. And sales should be bar so that I can do from here. So in the automatic, I can select bar. Right? You can see. If you want line chart for profit, you can go here and from circle, you can select line if you want. So I want it, so I did it. Okay. Now you can see a dual axis like thing is coming up. All right. Now, I don't want these particular things. So I need to hide these legends. So how do we hide the legends? In order to hide the legends, we go to this option and then we go to legends and we select the option which says color legend should be hidden. So this is currently checked in, we should check out. So click it so that the option is checked out. Now, if I click on T icon, it shows me the numbers, right? So it shows me the numbers for sales and profit. Now, let's convert the sales and profit numbers into 1000. So we know how to do that. In order to convert both the numbers into 1000 format, we right click on sum of cells and we click on this option which says format. And then you see the option which says over here as pin. So I can click on pin. I can go to numbers and I can select the number custom, right? So I don't need decimal places. So I'm making that as 0 and display unit I want as 1000. So let's make it 1000. So you can see the sales values are now shown in 1000. How do we show the profit in 1000? Right click on profit, format, same process. Go to pane, first drop down numbers, number custom, no decimals, and display unit should be 1000. Right? So this is how we are doing it. Now, if I go to the full screen mode or presentation mode, you see that the value of 56K for the subcategory copiers is well above the subcategory copiers sales value, which is 151K. Okay. Which means that these values are not in sync. Like how come 151 is below 156? It is because we have got two axes, the dual axis as what we call in Tableau. So this is sales, first axis, and this one is profit, which is second axis. Because we have two axes, hence this chart is dual axis chart. But what I need is, if you see this minus 100K to 350K, this is a scale of sales axis. Minus 20K to 55K, this is a scale of profit axis. So I must make sure that this 56K, which is pointing to this chart, and this 151K, which is pointing to this axis, both the axes must have the same scale. To do that, we use a concept called as synchronize axis. It means the values on both the axes or the scale of the values in both the axes must be similar or in sync with each other. So to do that, we right click on Y axis and we select the option which says synchronize axis. And now you see the chart in full screen mode. You can see where is 151 and where is 56. You can also observe the scale on both the axes. Now both are showing correct, isn't it? Now this is called as a dual axis. So now I don't need this Y axis, so I can avoid it. I can hide show header. I can also right click here and I can format. I can avoid this border. Okay, I can avoid this border. So to avoid the border, I go to the lines option. I go to rows and I go to this border option, not line. I go to borders option. I click on sheet and you see row divider and column divider. These two options are checked. So I want these options to be turn on, turn off. Right now, those are turn on. So I'll say don't show any row divider. Row divider means horizontal lines and column divider means vertical lines. So I can use the column divider. So column divider must be. Now I can also do one thing, like I can change the color of the bars, right? So it's very simple. Like I can change the colors here to, I can go to color and edit colors. Okay, so maybe you can go with this color for sales, and for profit, maybe you can go with black. Click OK. Now here you go. This is how the chart looks. I can do one more thing, like if the color of the bar is suppose this color, I want the label of that bar also of the same color. Like we have for line chart. Same way we want for bars. So the label should be of the same color as their bars. So to do that, I go to all. All means if you want to do common settings for sum of sales and sum of profit, both marks card, same settings, then I can do that in the all marks card. And I can go to label, font. In the font, there's option called as match mark color. Match mark color means chart color, label color, it's same. Okay, line chart color and its label same color. Bar chart and its label same color. That's what it is. So I click on match mark color, and now you see the chart looks beautiful. Okay, and you can analyze. So in one go, I can see for this particular subcategory, which is chairs, how much is the sales. In the same line, I can visualize how much is the profit. Okay, so this is the highest sales and this is the profit of that highest sales. So if you see, the highest profit was observed for copiers, 56,000, and the lowest profit was observed for tables. I mean, it's not a profit, it's a loss of minus 18,000. Okay, tables went into loss. Okay, copiers went into highest profit. Okay, so now that we have created this dual axis chart, I want you to use the concept of dual axis and create this chart. So let's take 10 minutes and please create this dual axis chart. I will be muting myself. Okay, so I hope all of you might have done this. So now let's go ahead and let's move to the next topic, which is nothing but hierarchy in Tableau. How do we create hierarchy and how to create the donut charts as well? Okay, so based on the same topic, I'm first going to show you what is donut chart. Okay, so I will explain you that. Donut chart. So basically, a donut chart is used to show the percentage distribution of any particular chart with respect to the total sales. Let's say I want to show how much sales is done by the region East, region West with respect to total sales. Then I would be doing that using donut chart or pie chart if I want to show percentage distribution. Okay. So the thing is that donut charts are not available, then how do we create? We create that by custom charts. Okay, so I'm going to show that one custom chart which is primarily used in lots of projects. Okay, so I'm going to show how to create donut, so you can do the coloring and stuff later on. So first let me show you how to do one by one, then you can do it later. So I double click on rows and I type 0 and then enter. So which means we are creating the 0 line by typing 0. So you can see the 0 line comes up. Now we have to again double click in the rows, type 0 and enter. Now we have two sum of zeros, right? So sum of 0 first means first marks card. Sum of 0 second means second marks card, right? So what I need is I want to now make this as an entire view. Okay. So what I will do is the standard mode, I will change it to entire view. At both locations, I need pie chart here also and here also. So since we need both locations, same kind of chart, we can go to all and change the automatic to pie. Okay. So I can go here and change the automatic to pie this way. All right. And now we can make the dual axis. We just now learned how to make dual axis. So let's make it. Now what happened is we have actually overlapped the two pie charts on each other. Means what? One pie chart is above the another pie chart. So what I need to do is I need to reduce the size of one pie chart. So you can see this sum of 0 means outer circle of the donut chart. And this sum of 0 means inner circle, inside circle of the donut chart. So I want to reduce the size of this inside circle. This inside circle, I want to reduce the size. Okay. So how do we do that? We simply click on size and we select the option which is like this. Okay. Now here what you can see is the one circle is having less radius than another. I want the color of this inside circle to be white and outside be make it blue. So to do that, I simply click on color and I click on edit color. So the inner circle color in my case is orange. So I want that to be white. So what I do is I simply double click on orange. I select white and then I click OK. So the outer should be blue and the inner should be white. All right. So you can see that how I have created the donut. Now it's time for us to increase the size of outer circle and inner circle. To do that, I click on sum of 0 first, which is nothing but outer circle. So I can increase the size of it this way. Similarly, I can increase the size of inner circle proportionately by going into second sum of 0, going into size. Okay, so the donut shape is ready, isn't it? Now let's avoid the lines, this line, the border, y-axis, everything. So we know how to avoid the y-axis. How to remove the borders, we know. Go to format, borders, sheet. We have row divider and column dividers. Let's make them none because normally these options come when you make dual axis. So we can avoid those options. Now let's avoid this 0 line. Why 0 line is coming up? Because initially you typed sum of 0, right? So that represents sum of zero, the zero line, zero axis basically. So I can right click, I can format, and I can go to line, and then I can go to the rows. I mean, I can go to sheet only, and in the sheet itself, you can see zero lines. So you can make it done. Okay. Now, when I hover the mouse in the donut, you can see over here, we have 0, 0. Okay. So let's make all. Let's go to all and let's avoid the tooltips. Let's avoid the tooltips. Let's not show any tooltips. Okay. Let's hide the legends. And now in the first sum of 0, let's add the on the angle. Angle means I want to know that what angle will be formed when I add the value of region-wise sum of cells. Okay. So what does that mean? It means that if the cells is more, the angle of the pie chart or donut chart will be more, right? So for example, if this is a pie chart, so who will decide that what is this angle? It is sum of cells. If the sum of cells is less, the angle will be less. If sum of cells is more, angle will be more. Because cells is deciding what should be the angle, so on angle we need sum of cells. So let's drag and drop sum of cells on the angle of first sum of 0, which is outer cell. And on the color, let's add region. Let's add region into colors. Let's add this region into label so that I get to see the names of the regions, and let's add cells into labels. And now you can see the donut is ready, right? Now, if you want to change color, if you want to change the font, format the font, you can do that very easily. Now let's take a time of 15 minutes because this will take some time. So let's take a time of 15 minutes and please create this donut chart. I will be muting myself. So you can see the marks card, like what is the purpose of region, sum of cells. Look at these icons. Look at these icons where I have added up the dimensions and measures. In the second sum of 0, I did nothing. There is nothing. I just increase and decrease the size. That's it. I did not drag and drop anything in the second sum of 0. All I did was in the first sum of 0 marks. So please do this. Let's meet after 10 minutes. Okay, I'm back. So I hope most of you might have completed this as well. Let me know in case of any doubts. All right. So donut chart should have been ready by now. So it's very simple. You can also make it more interactive by adding some, any particular dimensions to the pages, adding any particular measure to the pages so that the values change and you can see or analyze the donut chart in animated form. Now let's look at the next concept, which is nothing but hierarchy. So what is hierarchy? So normally what happens whenever you add the date dimension, for example, when you add the date dimension into rows, I told you yesterday that the hierarchy is created for year to quarter, quarter to month, and month to day. Okay, that kind of hierarchy we have seen yesterday. It means whenever you see plus sign, it means that dimension is actually a part of hierarchy, right? So this is the hierarchy created by Tableau itself internally. But what if I have my own requirement and want to show the hierarchy of my own set of dimensions? So that won't be created by Tableau internally because Tableau won't be knowing what hierarchy I need in the long run. So let's say for an instance, I want to create the hierarchy of category wise, subcategory wise, products information, and the sales information. So for that purpose, what I can do, I can create the hierarchy of category, subcategory, segment, and products, and then I can show the sales. So in order to create the hierarchy, I should first go to hierarchy, top dimension, which is category. I should right click on category, and then you should see the option which says hierarchy. And then I select the option which says create hierarchy. You can give the name, let's say product hierarchy. You can give a suitable name. So let's say we have product hierarchy. So I'm giving a name. And now you can see the product hierarchy with the tree-like icon comes up or has been created in field pane, under which we see one dimension, which is category. Now simply we can drag and drop subcategory below the category this way, followed by segment. That's it. I need 3 dimensions in this product hierarchy. So I can collapse, I can expand, collapse and expand, right? Now what I can do is I can add the product hierarchy. 2 things you can observe, that you can see the category comes up with the plus sign. Okay, because category is the first dimension. So plus sign means, suppose I want to see the sales from highest to lowest, I can do it this way. Let's format the sales to 1000 format. All right. So what does it mean is, in the category wise sales, we have the highest sales created or shown for technology category, and the least sales we can see for office supplies, right? I can simply double click on measure values as well so that I get to see the name of the column, which is sales here. Right now it is not shown at the moment. So in order to show the name of the column sales on the top, what we can do is we can simply double click on measure values. Now you can see the name of the sales company. Now what we can do, we can click on this plus sign so that you can see the data of category wise and subcategory wise sales. You can see over here, right? So I can increase the width and some height as well between the 2 rows. And that's how you can see the data. All right. So we have category and subcategory wise sales followed by segment. So let's keep in this way. Perfect. So this is the way how I can see the things, right? So this is quite useful for the user. So if I'm a user and I wanted to see only category wise sales, I can hover the mouse here on category column. You see minus sign. This is called as drill up. I'm going drill up. Drill up means showing the level of sales only till category, like overview of the sales for each category, isn't it? Then suppose I want to go drill down. I want to go down like this 840K, how it is formed. So I can just click it and I will get to know how 840K formed. It is the combination of these four values, isn't it? So phones is having highest sales in technology category. Again, if I click on this plus sign, I get to see the distribution of phones. So in the phones, which was having 332K sales, so which segment, under which segment the sales was highest for phones? So I got to know that it is consumer segment where the phones sales were the highest. And the home office segment was that segment for phones, which was showing the least sales. So that kind of, hiding the columns and showing the columns as per the need of the business, we can create the hierarchy. Because of that, we need the hierarchy. Now, some user says, I want to see only category, subcategory wise sales. Don't show me segment. So they have options to click on plus minus signs. So plus means drill down and minus means drill up. I'm going up. It is similar to the scenario like creating the hierarchy for country, state, city, and then sales. So country wise, state wise, city wise. You can add up or rearrange the dimensions in the hierarchy, like you can add subcategory below segment in this way. Now, after category, we have segment and then subcategory. So now, if you see these are categories, if you click on plus, I can get to see the segment. Okay, and then if I click on plus sign, under every segment, subcategory. That's what it means. So this is how we can actually create the hierarchy. If you think that you don't have to create hierarchy, you don't want any hierarchy to be created, you can right click on hierarchy and select this option which says remove hierarchy. Now you can see that all the dimensions are displaced to their original locations, and category to the category, there is no plus minus sign. Now what I want is you should try this and create the hierarchy of category wise. So hierarchy, first hierarchy you should create as category, subcategory, and it's a segment wise. And as an example, create another hierarchy in this country, region, state, and city. So first you create this hierarchy. Secondly, you create this hierarchy. So please create the two hierarchies. Once both the hierarchies are created, remove all the hierarchies. So let's take a time of 10 minutes and please create hierarchy and remove the hierarchies. All right, I'm back. So now let's go ahead and see the last portion. Okay, so now let's go to the last part of today's session, which is nothing but creating the parameters. So we have seen how to use the calculations in Tableau, how to create the custom chart, how to create the same example of custom chart using dual axis and calculation, how to create the hierarchy, and now it's time for us to see parameters. So parameters by definition are the concepts which are primarily used to dynamically change the uh, value in the chart. How do we change dynamically the value of the chart? So basically, the values in the charts are changed by user as per their business requirement. So let's say for an instance, I am showing you sum of sales by sales. Let's say I have this bar chart, correct? I have this bar chart, and then user says that show me the drop down on right hand side or show me the radio button on drop down side in this way. Okay. And in that radio button, in that box, whatever the box you have created, in that box, I want to show some measures. Let's say I want to show sales. I would want to show profit. I would want to show cost and so on. Likewise. So if I select sales, if user selects sales, right? If he selects sales, he or she selects sales, then show the subcategory wise sales as a bar chart. If the person selects profit, show the chart as profit. So whichever measure user chooses from the drop down, that measure values have to be shown in the chart. It means that bar chart becomes subcategory wise the measure chosen by the user. So that is how we are changing the value in the chart, or as per the user interaction, what user really wants to show in the dashboard or in the chart. That's what parameter is meant for. And that's why parameters are as important as any other feature in the tab. So in order to create parameter, we have to show these values in the parameters. There are n number of applications of parameters. Like if you select this, then what would happen? If suppose there is another example, if I select, user says that show me the drop down of currency. If I select INR, Indian rupees, the R symbol, then show me the values in Indian rupees. If user selects, let's say dollar from the drop down, then show the values in the dollar format. So whichever currency user chooses, that currency should be shown in the value with currency rate. Okay, so this cannot be done or achieved using the existing columns. This we have to do something additionally by using or by creating the parameters. So let's create the same scenario over here. We will be creating subcategory wise details. So to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to first of all add up subcategory to the rows. And now you can see we have subcategories. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to make this as an entire view. Okay, so this is what it is. Now I'm going to create a parameter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a parameter so that I can show the drop down on the right hand side in the list format. So in the parameter box, the drop down box, I'm showing the string data, right? String data means text data. So I should create the parameter which is based on string data. The data type of the parameter would be string or text. So the place from where you created calculated field, from the same place you will see one more option called as create parameter. So I click on create parameter option. Once you click it, you can see a window comes up which is asking you to create a parameter, set the data type and the values if you want. Since my parameter should be containing the string data, so I'm selecting the data type as string. You can select any data type values. For our situation, I'm selecting string. And now I want the values to be shown in the list format. That's why I'm showing the list. It's like when you work in Excel and when you create data validation dropdown, you ask user to select the values from a list of values provided in that dropdown. Right? Same thing we are doing here. That's why I selected list. I don't want user to type the value in the box. Otherwise, I would have chosen all, right? So I want user to select the value from the list. That's why list. So I can click here, what values I want, that those values I can type. So let's try with 5 values: sales, profit, cost, quantity, and discount. So these are the 5 values we have. Okay. We have sales, profit, cost, quantity, discount. So 5 values are filled. Now, once you have these 5 values in place, you can also give the name to the parameter if you want. Okay. So let's say choose measure. Like I will ask user to choose a measure from the list, right? So that's why choose measure. So let's click OK. And now you can see on bottom left, a under parameter section, choose measure named parameter has been created, whose data type is ABC, which is an icon for string data type. For example, category. Category is ABC, text data, right? So in order to show the parameter drop down on right hand side, we right click on parameter and select this option which says show parameter. Once we select, you can see on the top right, we have this option. And if I expand it, you can see the all measures, right? In the parameter, you can choose only one value at a time. You cannot choose multiple values. Okay. Now, in order to have parameter working with this chart, okay, what I need to do is I need to interlink this parameter with this chart using calculated field, using calculation. So I will say that I want to write a calculation of if else condition, which means if someone selects sales, what value would you like to show here? I will say I want to show sum of sales. If someone selects profit, then I would like to show sum of profit here. If someone selects cost, I want to show sum of sales minus sum of profit. This expression for every subcategory. For quantity, I need sum of quantity. For discount, I need sum of discount. So this if else conditions I want to write in the calculation. So let's see as to how to write this calculation. I'm creating a calculation in calculated field, and here I'm writing calculation 1. You can give any name. So here we go. Here we write the calculation. So we write if the name of parameter is choose measure. So user is selecting the value from a drop down. So what this drop down means? A parameter. What's the name of it? Choose measure. So if the choose measure is sales, then I need some options. You see how simple is table calculation. I mean, how simple is this basic calculation in Tableau? If else condition, to be precise. It's very simple, right? Now, if the first condition is true, then I want to do this, or I want to show this, right? If this condition is not true, do we have anything else? Yes, I will say if so, the meaning of this condition true means user is choosing sales from the drop down. The meaning of this condition false means user is not choosing sales. Then user has lot of options, right? So I will say now if user chooses profit, then what else? What would you like to show? If user chooses profit, then I would like to show sum of profit, right? If this condition is also not true, then I will say, okay, user is not choosing sales, not profit, user might be choosing cost. So if user chooses cost, then what I would like to show is this. If you remember, we had just created the expression for cost as sum of sales minus sum of profit. If you remember, same expression I'm writing. If user also does not choose cost, then what options are we left with now? Quantity and discount. So user may choose quantity. So if user chooses quantity, then I would like to show sum of quantity. If user does not choose quantity, which means if this condition is also not true, then I mean user is not choosing all these four options. It means user is selecting discount. So that's the last condition. So you can write last condition else if, or you can write that in else block as well. Else sum of discount, and every if else condition must be completed with end block mandatorily. Then and then your calculation becomes valid. Okay. If you don't write end, your calculation won't be correct. Okay. So writing end clause is mandatory in if else condition only for if else condition. Okay. You can see the straightforward if else conditions, how it is written, right? So it's very, very simple and you can write it. Now this calculation should be added into columns. The calculation that I have created just now should be added to columns. And let's sort the data and show the values. Let me format it. Now at the moment, if you see from a drop down, what have you selected? You can see the sales. So the values that you see over here are sales values. You can give the colors, isn't it? Right? Now, whatever the value I have written here or I am selecting here, I want that value to be shown in the title box. So how do we do that? We do that by double clicking the title. Remove the sheet name. So sheet name I had given parameter. That's why it shows parameters. I don't want parameters. I want the parameter name, the choose measure name. So I will insert the parameter, which is choose measure. So you can see at bottom, we have choose measures, right? So that's how you can give the color and format it. Perfect. You can see the sense, right? Now what I need is I want to choose profit. You see profit, right? Now let's select cost. This is a cost. Let's select quantities. You see subcategory wise quantities. And now let's choose discount. So this is a discount. You can also convert this drop down into radio button. You can go here and you can select the single value list option that you can see over here, radio button. Now you can switch easily anywhere. Isn't it nice? Right? Yes. So this is very simple and you can actually work on this. So please create the parameter. I'm showing you parameter and I'm also showing you calculated field. So please do that and create this calculation. Just a minute. So let me show you calculation. So this is a calculation. So let me put it somewhere here. And let me edit the parameter as well so that you can see. And once parameter is created, you right click on parameter and select show parameter option so that values are shown on the right hand side. Okay. So please do that. Let's be meet up after 10 minutes. Please complete this, add the subcategory, add the calculation one in the columns. Okay, so I hope all of you might have completed this as well. So this is what the parameter is all about and how to create the chart on top of that. So if user selects any value, then the chart should change accordingly. All right. As usual, and like all previous sessions, I hope you might have liked this session as well. So I request all of you to, create calculations the way we created, have this data shown in different format, maybe in table format or highlight table in format, try out the different things over here, right? Now create different charts using dual axis concept. You can create a chart which is looking like a lollipop shape. That chart you can also create different hierarchies, right? Play with parameters. There are in number of examples of parameters. So if you know all the functions in Tableau as to how to write the calculations for those, then you can easily create any parameter and then embed that parameter in the calculation so that as per user interaction in the filters or these options, the charts will change. So as I said yesterday, in the worksheet, in the sheet 1, sheet 2, those are worksheets. In every worksheet, we actually create one chart. We create the dashboard at a place where we already have been given this icon. You can see here, it says new dashboard. So if I click on it, the dashboard is shown. Okay, so this is a place where we create the dashboard the way we created in Power BI. Okay, but we don't have rounded rectangles or rectangles and all. We can give the rectangle border, but we don't have rounded rectangle. We don't have shadows or other things, but we will see how to create the dashboard which can solve many business problems. So in our tomorrow's last session, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the 3 charts, okay, and then or maybe 4 charts, and then I would be showing you how to create a dashboard using these objects. Okay, so the best part here is that we using Tableau, I can show any information in any format using this marks card, and the calculations are very simple. Okay, so using tiled container, we are going to create the dashboard. So thank you all of you. Over to you, Amar.
Yeah, thank you so much. So team, I already shared the attendance in the chat box. Please mark your attendance and share your valuable feedback as well. I am sharing the attendance thing once again with you. Please mark your attendance. And if you have any query or question, please drop in the chat box. I will take it up. You two peoples, you also have a query or question, please drop in the chat box. Very informative session. Thank you so much. Any PDF will you share? So actually there is no any PDF, but we have practice file and we uploaded that over LMS practice file for Tableau and Power BI. We are using same file and we are already uploaded that in the LMS. Swati, Shubham just left, so you can ask your query tomorrow session, okay? Okay, if you don't have any query or question, then you can leave the session. We are done with the day. So we'll meet you on tomorrow at same time. You're welcome. Yes, tomorrow is the last day. We are done with the 4 days, and tomorrow is the last day of our 5 days FDP program. Today's session, very good explanation. Thank you so much. The yourself for sharing the attendance. Realme 2, I didn't get you. Can you please repeat that? If possible, try to send the PPT or video, sir. Actually, team, you will get all the recorded sessions over LMS. We already uploaded day 1 to day 3 material and recorded sessions over LMS. So please try to visit LMS And if you are facing any difficulty while accessing the LMS now, please drop an email to edl@excelr.com. I'm sharing that email ID with you. Just a minute. So there is one more question. Since 3 days, I couldn't log in directly to the Zoom. Instead, attend the YouTube link shared. How to fill the attendance, sir? So Bhargavi, thing is that now we are sharing attendance link over YouTube as well. So you need to mark from there only. We are sharing the attendance link on YouTube, Zoom, and LMS as well. Sana Begami Singh session was very good and good explanation and informative. Thank you so much. Yeah, Jagdish, I'm sharing the attendance link. Please mark your attendance. Attendance link not visible. Jagdish, I just shared with everyone. Please try to mark now. Today's session is very much useful, sir. Supriya. Thank you, Supriya. Team, any different query or question? No, sir. Okay, thank you. For how many duration we can access LMS? Yeah, good question. So Suchitra, LMS access is there for lifetime. It's clear understanding about today's session. Thank you. Okay, that's great. Thanks, Lord. You're welcome, Suchitra. YouTube peoples, you have any query? I will access through LMS only. I have joined classes and accessing material. Yeah, that's wonderful. The University of Texas and us. Okay. Link can't open. How it's opening for all? All people are filling the form. I'm sharing with you personally. If you're not able to open, please drop me a WhatsApp message. I'm sharing my number with you. I think you're struggling from last 5-10 minutes. I shared my number with you. Please WhatsApp me on the same. Jobs offers regarding Power BI and Tableau. So you can ask this question to Mr. Shubham. And if you need more information, please feel free to share your contact details on the edl@excelr.com. Our team will get back to you. Bhargavi, I already replied on your text. So we're not able to share that. Yeah, you can drop an email to us just for backup. I'm sharing that email ID with you. Sir, kindly share the feedback form. Okay, Dinesh, I'm sharing that. Sorry, Dhanesh Kumar. Okay, sir. Thank you. Have a good day. Thank you so much, Bhargavi. Okay, then thank you so much, all of you, for joining the session. We'll wind up for the day and we'll meet you on tomorrow at same time. Once again, thank you for joining the session.